Come on.
Hey, let's walk it out. Let's talk, let's walk it out. Let's talk, walk it out. Let's talk.
Hello, and welcome to Talk About It, the Candid Conversation Show with Muriel
and Ruby,
where we discuss topics that are unspoken and taboo in our community. We are excited to have a candid conversation with Lakeisha Ross, where we will be discussing overcoming obstacles, entrepreneurship, and her journey with mental health.
Lakeisha, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate you ladies.
Thank you. So beautiful.
I know, right?
Thank you. Look at you two. Gorgeous. Your eyes, phenomenal.
Thank you. We have seen you doing so many amazing things in the community, not only here, but internationally. And we want to know more about Lakeisha. We want to know, how was it growing up in Lakeisha's household?
Well, the first thing is I have Caribbean parents, so you know, you already know. There's a lot of island cooking, a lot of discipline. But actually, you know, you may notice with the accent.
Yes, I love it.
Born in New York, Brooklyn.
That's right.
All right, Brooklyn boy.
Brooklyn
There we
in
go,
the
honey.
house.
All right. But then my father was in the army, so when I was 4, we relocated to Germany.
Okay.
But you know, that was early 80s. It wasn't the place to be kind of for, you know. So my mother actually went to London where we had other family members. And so we stayed there, so we were close to him. He could just take a quick flight over to see us.
Okay.
But then, you know, relationships separate, and we ended up staying in London. So
You fell in love with it too, right?
well, my mom did, and then I just got raised there, and then I did too. So I was literally raised there from the age of 4 till the age of 30.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Your whole life.
Oh, my whole life. I went to school, everything.
That's what
Yes,
It's
everything.
beautiful.
Thank you so much. So I was raised there, but traveled every summer to spend the summers in the States with my dad. So I had the best of both worlds growing up, really did. Really, my home life was actually what I'd say disciplined. You know, church, you know, the church bus came Monday to Sunday, you know, even if mom couldn't make it, she was making sure I got on it.
You're the only child?
No, I've now got siblings, but I wasn't until I was 9 years old. So I was spoiled until 9.
Spoiled brat.
Yeah, but now I've got a bunch of brothers and sisters. So yeah, I had the good life at first, but I also was the one who saw the struggles because
You
my
saw it
mother
all.
has a single mother. I saw her working the free jobs, you know, getting her degree, going from there to being a lecturer at London University. So now she's really made it, but I saw the days when she got her first cosmetology kit and, you know, didn't even know how to do some rollers. So my brothers and sisters came in when things were a bit more settled.
Stable,
you know, mom was kind of doing her thing.
Right.
But I appreciated seeing the journey, her fight.
That's right.
You know, I can't tell you we were one of those households where I ever went to bed hungry. You know,
She made a way.
She made a way. She actually made clothes too. So we may not have
Talented.
been in the name brands, but trust me, mom was making. We were looking good, all right. So it was really nice. It was definitely a different kind of upbringing, being born in London. I mean, being grown in London. You know, the diversity wasn't that much then as it is now. You had to deal with quite a few racial things, but for the most of it, I really enjoyed. I was a very creative, rebellious child. We'll get to that. But for the most of it, you know, I just loved doing creative things, art, design, and most of my passions. And my mom saw that in me at an early age. So
You saw that talent there.
I'll be honest, I would get low scores in maths, but when it came to anything creative, art, design, straight A, drama,
that was your
acting,
love.
that was it. And she realized that, so she put me into after school programs, African dance, a lot of stuff that is coming out now I was doing back then. So she definitely poured into me and let me see that it was okay to nurture my gifts, which is what I do now.
That is beautiful. We know we're from a Caribbean background as well. And we
Okay.
know that Caribbean parents are no nonsense.
At all, okay, at all. They say it once, don't make it be a second
It better
time.
not be.
all
Don't
right?
even let them even get their mouths
That's what I was
to
about
even
to say.
say
They
it.
The
just
look.
eyes.
Do you remember the look?
You
You
better
be out and
recognize
they'll be
it.
like, and you're like, oh no, when I get home,
I'm in trouble.
I'm in trouble. So, but you know, you ran from it, but now I appreciate it so
right.
much.
That's what
because
we
I've-
say.
Yes,
it
we
made
really
me the
appreciate it.
woman I am
That's right.
today.
Because if not, because I say that all the time to my sister, if mom and dad, because I'm one of those, I'm the one that was more so just wanting to always go. So it's like, if my parents weren't as strict as they were, I don't know where I'd be.
I know.
I
right?
say that because
Thank
a lot
you.
of times they were decisions I made along the journey.
Yes.
You know, you get to that
Of
road,
course.
crossroad, and it's like, do I
Right.
go left or right?
Uh-huh.
And I'll be honest, a lot of things that kept me on the straight was my mom, my dad in my head,
Yes.
like, wait a minute, they're not going
Don't
to go
do
for
that.
this. Yeah. So it does play a crucial part in making us who we are today.
That's right. Whether the parent is single or
Whether
whether
they're-
it's a mother
yes,
and father
exactly,
in the household.
because
Still.
she raised us. You know, she
Yeah.
got married after that, but for a long time it was just
Just
her.
her.
She was the, you know, the father, the disciplinarian,
Everything.
the
Of
food, the cook, everybody.
Everything.
You know, but she handled it well.
That's right. We love that.
I know. Lakeisha, I struggle with ongoing depression, and I know in 2009 you hit a point where you were depressed. How did you overcome that?
Before we even go into that, I want to say something that, you know, and to anybody out there, a lot of people think depression doesn't look like us. Okay? Depression doesn't wear weave, you know, it doesn't have Louis Vuitton. Depression doesn't matter who it is,
Who you are.
Doesn't matter.
where you come from,
What degrees you
what
have.
degrees you have, what titles
Titles.
you're wearing. It is a mental illness. And before I recognized that, it was something that I was ashamed of, right? So just taking you back in a little backstory, because people get into depression for various reasons.
Anything.
You know, anything. Mine happened to be 2009. What people are experiencing now,
Okay.
okay, lost my six-figure job. You know, we moved here, big American dream. My husband, you know, meet my American boy,
Yes.
got
Okay.
married. You know, everything's great.
Right.
He's got his six-figure job. So have I. Life is good. 2009 comes. I wasn't even used to the at-will situation that they have in Florida. In London, they'll give you notice. So
Right.
once, you know, they start crunching them numbers in the office and people have to go, some of those with the biggest salaries are the
They go
first they
first.
look at,
That's right.
Absolutely.
So I was one of those, and it was like, see you later. You haven't been working with us long enough
You're
to
like, how
get.
could you do this to me?
So there's my box,
Oh my
in
goodness.
tears, go
Pink
home.
slip.
Right. That's fine.
Yes.
Hubby's gonna keep things going.
Right, right.
2 weeks later, here
He
he
says,
comes
"I'm
with
out."
his box.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Both, it's the recession. The
Yes.
jobs are just out.
Right.
You know, everything. He's in the construction, you know,
Okay.
business. I'm here.
Oh, wow.
So we go from living our best
Yes.
lives to what are we going to do? There's no jobs available.
Right. Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
This is what happens, guys. A lot of us, we attach ourselves
With the name brand.
to the Mercedes. you
That
know,
doesn't make you.
Okay, to, you know, how much money we have, the cars, the house. And unfortunately, when we look at that as who we are, when
That's your
those things
downfall.
are removed,
Your life is over. You feel like your life,
Life is
over.
over.
Right.
Yes.
Those things don't make you. They look nice, but they do not make you.
and I believe now I can look back and say I'm a firm believer that God will sometimes strip you butt naked and for the
Yes.
world to see.
That's
Yes.
right. That's
so
what has
you
to
can
happen.
recognize
Yeah.
His
Humble
voice
yourself.
and humble yourself.
Yes.
So I wasn't ready for that message though, guys. Okay, I wasn't ready
Yeah.
for that message. So, you know, the cars go.
Oh.
You know, the neighbors see them getting
yeah,
repoed.
yeah.
You know, my
You're
daughter
like embarrassed. Like, what?
my daughter can't get the stuff. It's the embarrassment.
Yes.
Okay, these are the things that made me me. So who am I now? I don't know.
Nobody's gonna like me.
Nobody's gonna like me. I'm a
nobody.
failure. I'm nobody. And those thoughts played and played to the point where they started to affect me. And let's talk about depression for a moment, because I
Yes,
love when
be
people
serious.
describe it. Oh, it's just a bit of this.
Yes.
Let's talk about not bathing for weeks, because that's depression. Not opening the curtains.
You feel
okay?
like you're in a hole.
Not cleaning the house, okay? So much goes on when you're stuck, and I'm going to thank God I was only stuck for maybe 6 months. But those 6 months, my family had to watch me. My daughter watched me.
And they couldn't help you.
Thank God, I had a husband. He could have said, "Oh, forget this. She ain't bathing."
Stayed right there.
Yeah, he's like, she ain't bathing.
She stinks. I'm gonna be right here with her.
All right, but he saw beyond that.
Yes.
But this is what happens where things fall apart because people don't have the time or the energy to deal with it. They don't understand. It's not as simple as snap out of it.
No.
I wanted to. I saw the pain in my daughter's eyes as she watched the strong mother she'd always, and it gets emotional even speaking about it now.
You fell.
She saw me fall. This is the mother who was always the champion, the warrior. Mom,
your hero, her hero.
What's happening?
Yes.
My husband, the strong, independent black woman I married.
I know. Where's she at?
Where's she at? And I'm going to be real with you.
Yes.
There was one day that changed all of that. I was in fetal position because a lot of times when you are in that state, you're screaming out and you're crying to the Lord. But sometimes you're not paying attention to what he's saying to you.
Yeah, you got to pay
And
attention.
I had another one of my pity parties, because I used to call them that, your daily pity parties, and I'm curled up in fetal position saying, "Why me, Lord? Why me?" And I heard him clear as day say to me, "Lakeisha, I am not doing anything to you that you are not doing to yourself." And I promise you, ladies, that moment,
You stood up.
I stood up. And I said, "Get it together." Now, I just want to be clear. Everybody's situation isn't the same. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist.
Right, you're just telling us your story.
My story. Not everybody can do that. It's like addiction.
Right.
Some people wake up and snap and stop
Not
doing
everyone
something.
can do that.
Not everybody. Some people need help.
Right.
But in that moment, I realized I was more worried about what I had lost than what I had.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
The gratitude had gone. And he made me check the fact we were still breathing.
Thank
He
you.
took
I was
everything
still
away.
my mind was here. I still had my creative abilities.
You're healthy.
And we were healthy, and we still had a roof. We may have been eating noodles,
Thank you.
but we
You
had a roof
over your head.
What are you doing,
You got to be
Lakeisha?
grateful and thankful.
The moment I stood up, and let me show you how he works. I went for a job interview about 5 months prior. But everybody's going for jobs, right? So there's nothing. That's why I kind of went into a depression, because I couldn't find anything. After I decided to stand up, I'm telling you the truth, I took a shower, washed my
yourself up.
hair.
Put some makeup on.
Yeah, I tidied the house. They walked in that day like,
What's going on?
"What's
with her?
going on? What happened to her?" But I'll tell you the truth, 48 hours later, the phone rings. "Hi, Lakeisha. You came in about 4 or 5 months ago for a job. Are you still looking?"
Yes.
How he works when you walk in faith.
Yeah, it's not your time. It's his
time. I'd lost my faith. And that was a test.
Yes, it was.
And until I realized who I was without all that stuff, I was going to be stuck in that position. And after that, I'm going to be honest.
God is good.
Changed my whole mindset, changed my whole life. Changed my whole mindset.
And you were never taking any kind of medication or anything?
That's why I said everybody is different.
Right.
I never had to go that route, but what I do is I always remember I don't ever want to be back there.
There you go.
And I know that it could trigger. That means that there's something there that could trigger me. So I acknowledge that. I embrace who I am.
Okay.
I don't become attached to things.
There you go.
Right. It's not important.
I'm not attached to anything.
No.
You can take it, I know
it's
who
okay.
I am, honey, okay?
right.
I walk with my head high. So that part was removed. But I always walk knowing it could happen tomorrow. It can happen to anybody I know. So I don't take it lightly. And just because you walk in here smiling with your head up and acting like the world
that doesn't
is
mean
great.
you don't have any
to
issues.
me, I'm like, no, I've been there, done that. I know you can hide it well
You
when
know
you
the
want
look.
to. All right? So
You
Were
know
you
the
triggered
list.
at all with the pandemic that occurred?
can I be honest with you? Because of the pandemic and losing everything, that's where the entrepreneur side of me kicked in.
Okay.
Because what I did say is I would never give anybody, no person, the ability to say goodbye, Lakeisha, and control the income that came into my household.
So you said, I'm going to be
I'm
my
going to
own
be
boss.
my own boss. So I did go back to work, you know, because it takes time. But for 7 years, I worked on my own businesses after work while doing a full-time. So a lot of people think it's an overnight thing.
It's not
For
overnight.
7 years, I left. I was a senior paralegal. That's a hard job.
Yeah,
a lot of
senior.
mental work for the top attorney in the firm. You know, I'm literally
on.
the attorney in
Yes,
the building.
that's right.
Okay?
You're doing all the work.
I'm doing all the work. Finished there 7, 8 o'clock. come home, make sure my daughter's homework's done, make sure hubby's done, the food's done, then go into my office from 10 till 3 a.m. only to repeat that.
Yeah.
Over and over and over.
Exhausting. I went to bed sometimes so sick I was nauseous. But the desire was there for me to make it happen, the push. And I just knew I never wanted to rely on anybody. So when this happened, I've been warning, go digital. You know, all these things I had been warning my clients and saying to people, this moment actually my business thrived.
It's better. Because you do branding, branding and marketing.
Branding and marketing,
Mo.
yes.
Mo.
Yes, MOE,
Mindset.
Brand Studio. And that is, thank you for saying that, because MOE stands for Mindset Over Everything. Now, I could have called my company Boss Branding or something, but everything that I've done, I realized is the mindset. You cannot succeed if your mind isn't in the right place. So regardless of what everybody else calls their company, mindset over everything will always be my anthem, because I don't care how good you look.
Win.
That's it.
I always say mindset will determine between winning and losing. Because
It does.
I'm serious. That's what it is.
It
and
really does.
We're going to go back to the business aspect, but I definitely have to mention this. You made a post not too long ago on social media, and it just literally brought me to tears.
What was that one?
Because I can relate to it. It's basically my story. Back then, they didn't know, they didn't have that in healthcare. They didn't know about it. But now they do. You've mentioned your 4-year-old grandson with selective mutism.
Yes,
Can
indeed.
you share with us a little bit about that?
Yes. So my grandson, mothers, we kind of know. So I noticed at about 3 to 4, things just didn't seem, he wasn't responding like I know a child about 2 to 3 years old. But, children grow differently. So you don't want to suddenly say, my daughter was a young mother, so, that's hard on her. But watching from a distance, I started to feel like there was slight developmental issues. Sometimes it's hard to get the parents.
Right, because everybody's like, nothing's wrong with my kid.
There you go. So we had that little battle I had to kind of override, like, okay, I'm grandma here. We're going to get this checked out. And we realized that, yes, he was diagnosed with severe anxiety / selective mutism.
And he was how old?
4 years
4
old.
years old.
Because we noticed that in big crowds, he would become very distressed. In rooms full of more than maybe his parents and a few people, very distressed. Would speak to his parents, so he could speak, but wouldn't speak to anybody else, like literally his mouth wouldn't move in front of him. So we knew, even dealing with children, something wasn't
right. Something's going on.
Yes, so we started therapy and, did a lot of that, but the truth is there are no answers for things like that. It's when the person's ready.
Right.
So we were told that it could be until adulthood, whenever he's ready. And his vocabulary is so extensive, but only to his parents. Yes, so people think he speaks very well.
It's a small group of people.
Yes, and recently, out of the blue, he just started speaking. Like, his mom will be speaking to me, and he'll be like, let me speak to grandma. And to hear his voice on the phone, I only get about 2 to 3 minutes before he shuts down again.
Right, but you're getting something.
I'm getting something. And she lives 3 hours away now. So just having that was so comforting. And I know for her, because she doesn't have that problem because he speaks to her.
Right.
But it was when they take him outside the home, they realized, yes. So it's been a journey. It's still going to be.
Yes.
And look, I can see her tearing up now because
it's real.
So have you experienced, was that?
Oh yeah, you could even attest to that. I did not speak to anyone outside the home. The kindergarten teacher told my parents something must be wrong because I asked her a question, but she's not speaking to me. Yeah, she's not speaking to me. So,
I just said she was shy.
Yeah,
that's what we were always saying.
At first we thought it was, but then we realized there was something a bit. But back then, you've got to remember, a lot of this stuff they're diagnosing now, there was no names for it then. They just kept sending you to school and hoping something would change.
So it continued on. Yeah, throughout my life, I'm still affected. It's hard for me to sit here every single week.
But look at
I'm pushing and pushing and pushing.
She's
But
doing
yes,
good.
so yeah, I go to therapy and everything to work through it. But I really have bad anxiety.
So thank you because you, for me, are the light at the end of the tunnel. Because
grandson.
nobody would look at you and think that.
Absolutely.
I never would have known that if you didn't share that. So thank you so
She's
much.
just relaxed. She tries to be relaxed. It takes, it takes a
Yes.
moment.
And
you
that's
know.
what it is. You know, he will speak to me fine, but he's got to be staying, like he comes to my house. After about the third day, I guess he can't take it anymore.
Then he just-
But it usually takes about 3 days of him being in the flow with me.
Right.
Exactly.
Then he's like, all right, I might as well say something to grandma.
Yeah,
you know?
come on,
But
she loves me. She said-
yeah.
A lot of love. And
That's
love
all
to
we
him,
do.
yes.
And not pushing.
There you go.
One of
Right.
the things at first we thought we had to make him, and then we realized, no, meet him where he's at.
That's right.
So we don't.
Because
If
once
he
you
just-
push,
Oh yes, even when I'm excited and he's speaking to me, I've got to hold it in and be like, okay, that's really good. I'm like,
because if you get too excited, he's going to shut down again.
exactly. So I just still got to keep calm and act like it's nothing at all that's going on. Then I put the phone down and I'm like screaming and crying.
Yes.
So that was a good post. I mean,
Yes, thank you.
You
Yeah.
know how many people I'm sure you impacted just by doing
I got
that.
a lot of messages, people who are experiencing it right now and don't really speak about
No,
it, you know?
they're embarrassed
because
to speak about
they
it.
get embarrassed. They feel like people are going to
Stigma.
talk about
Yes.
them. And
Listen, my baby, I'm like, listen, my baby is
Yes.
extra special and everybody
Yes.
better know it, all
We're
right?
smart. We're really smart. It's just we're just
The mind.
Yeah.
sit and observe. She's
Yes.
an observer
Yeah.
as well. She sees and
won't say
hears
anything.
everything, and she just takes it all in.
And you can recall things that people are kind of,
oh yeah.
that's
And
him.
then she'll even ask me, well, what did you think about this person? Because I sense things that most people don't, and I'm sure he does.
He does.
Yes.
When I say that he's got gifts that we know are gonna,
Yep.
kind of like, he kind of freaks you
I
out a
know,
little bit
I know.
sometimes,
They're
like,
hidden.
whoa, yeah, but
They'll
he's
come
got
out.
some major gifts coming. I can see it.
Yes.
But thank you so much for
Thank you
mentioning
for the
that.
post, 'cause
But
that-
once again, things we deal with.
That's right.
Stigmas,
Yes.
problems, black people who we want to deny it. Nothing's wrong with him. Oh, he's going to be fine.
He'll be fine.
Exactly.
He's just shy. We've got to start addressing
deeper.
these things
Yes.
and really figuring
That's
out
right.
what's
Yes.
going
And
on.
that's part of why we do this show.
Absolutely.
Especially for our community, the black communities. I'm sure it happens in other communities.
course.
But we've got to deal with
You have
us.
to deal with it and be
Right.
honest. That's the problem. Be
That's the
honest.
problem.
Speak about it. Share your story.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think I shared with you ladies, but I've walked into rooms where people have been like, until they've heard my story.
Right.
Right, and
Then at
they
the end
like-
of it, it's like, oh my God, Lakeisha, I didn't even know. But
Right, because we
don't
talk.
judge a book by
By
its
cover.
That's my favorite line.
I thank God I don't. If I look like what I've been
Been
through,
through.
I'd be Felicia, not Lakeisha, okay? Because that's the truth.
Yes.
So, so many of us are fighting battles. We've got battles we're fighting now. I've got family battles that I'm being the strength for family members
course.
now. I don't
Right.
discuss, but as I motivate you, I'm getting on a call and helping a family
Yeah.
member
That's
who's
right,
going
yeah.
through
Yes.
it. It's a lot.
We
It's
hold
a
on to so
lot.
much. And they say that black women, society
Yes.
does it. Even the Caucasians will say that black women are so strong.
Strong.
We'll be
the problem.
fine. They'll be fine.
Yes.
They got it. They got it. But we're not fine.
We're not.
We're
We're
not.
not. And you know what I realized? I don't want to be fine
No.
anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't
that's where
want to
I'm
be
at.
fine.
Like, come on.
No,
Right.
are you okay, Lakeisha? No, I'm not
No, I'm
today.
not.
It's
Just
not
be
a good-
honest and tell
yeah.
We're
It's-
strong, but it's okay to be weak.
there you go.
Okay?
You've got to show
There
that.
you
Okay to
go.
be weak.
We've fought a lot of battles. It's okay to take a couple of days off
There
at
you
this
go.
point. I'm
There's
sorry.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So I have my weekdays. I try to be transparent with my tribe, so they don't get this all mixed up with the glitz and the glam. I understand this
Yes.
is gonna need to be the strongest thing you have to get you through anything.
Anything.
Mindset
Anything.
over everything.
Love it.
Has to be.
Mindset over
Has to
everything. We want to talk a little bit more
Yes.
about the businesses that you have, because you have more than one. You
Yes.
have more than one.
Yes.
We want to talk a little bit about that, if you'll share with us.
Okay, I will. So yes, the empire, and there's more coming.
That's right.
But yes, so I have MOE Brand Studio where I teach entrepreneurs how to build their brands, but not just build the brands. We get confused with the logo and the graphics.
Right.
There's more to
And-
it.
That's not what sells. I also teach them how to sell the experience and the value they provide,
okay.
and how to market that and attract their target market. So I'm big on that, especially now in the digital age. There's so much noise out there. You've got to learn how to define yourself. So
Okay.
I have clients, 80% of my clients are not even in the
Here
state.
in Florida.
No, okay. So I'm always flying out to them, or in London, as you know, I've got a lot of international clients. So I not only help them build their brands, but I have the Brand Bossy Society.
Okay.
That's where I just coach bosses how I'm very big on speaking your mind. You know, there's labels too.
Yeah.
If we're too assertive, we're aggressive, okay? If we speak our mind, we're troublemakers.
Like they say, the black woman syndrome, the angry black woman.
Okay, exactly.
There's all types of labels for us.
There you go. And I still believe that, you know, we have to know what we want, not be afraid to open our mouths and get it. So, you know, I'm not bossy, I'm a boss.
That's right.
There
And
you
what
go,
I've
big
realized
difference.
in being a boss is you are going to have to lay down the law. You are going to have things in place and strategies, and you've got to let people know, you know, I'm not playing those games. Business is business and separate it. So I do teach them how to kind of speak up, assert themselves, get
like
their
that.
business, you know, in order. But it takes a lot. It's not just getting it in order, your team.
Right.
Don't just hire your family members and they're not doing nothing. You might have to fire them. Are you strong enough to tell your sister,
Right.
you're really not doing this, I love you, but okay, all right. And sometimes that's what it's about.
You say it,
So
we do
yeah,
it.
so the Brand Bossy Society is just about raising bosses to be, you know, assertive, you know, have their back office in order, and all that stuff that a lot of things that we don't
Very
think
important.
about, you know.
Or you'll lose it all.
That's it.
You will lose
the
it all.
legal side. You'd be surprised how many people do not understand the legal aspects of the business. So when I say branding, it's become such a logo and graphics thing.
Yes, it is.
I like to say that no, I help you not only build it, but, you know, brand it and
Okay.
launch it to make sure you are profitable. Because if you're not making money, it's a hobby, honey.
It's not making sense. If you're not making money,
dollars, it's not making
sense. Yeah,
sense,
it's true.
right? So
You've been
that's
doing I've seen so many people online through your business, through your company, just succeed. I'm just so proud of you.
I'm about exposure.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest, I was the underdog. I always have been.
Yeah.
You know, the one that the door got closed the most. You know, the one who was the most fret when she walked
But
into
you kept
the
it
room.
going. You kept it moving.
Oh, never have been one to worry about it.
Or
and
give
that's
up.
a problem, though, for us, too. We feel if everybody's not holding our hands and cheering us on, we can't do it.
Yes.
I've done so many things that I've not even had a one finger clap for, okay? But
And you
guess
still
what?
kept it?
Still kept it moving.
That's right.
Your tribe will find you, but show up authentically and do what you do
Every single time.
every single day. And listen, everybody's not gonna like you.
No.
Be okay with that.
Yeah. As long as you like
Be
yourself
okay. That's it. And
first.
exactly. Be okay with that. I can be a little bit too much for some, you know. You know, she says what she feels a bit too much. That's okay, I get it.
But just right for
I'm gonna
somebody else.
There you go. And that's one of the things I want us to start owning who we are.
We have to.
If you're a bit more quiet, that's okay. If you're the shy type, it's okay. But if you're the loud type, that's okay too.
Make some noise.
All right, there you go. Let's make some noise in the building.
Make some noise.
Right?
Listen, I've seen you working with a few of the high clientele.
And this is about being a boss, because I've also fired a few high clientele too. Yeah,
Sometimes
because
you have to.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
and this is about understanding your business. You know, I've definitely been connected with some great celebrities and stuff. And then there's also times where every opportunity isn't an opportunity.
You have to recognize that.
You have to recognize that.
Right.
I'm not about the fame. That doesn't, you know, that has never
Been
been my
there,
thing.
done that, had
Okay,
it.
all right. It doesn't make you happy. That's why so many people are miserable.
That's true.
There you go.
I'm about being able to teach what I know, give you the methods I know, see you implement them, and see them benefit you. So no matter if you're
Love
a
it.
celebrity or just somebody, a client who's come to me, if you can't follow the methods, because those are the ones that I know are proven.
And they work.
They work. If you want to do your own thing, then you can do your own thing on your own,
your
you
own.
know?
Right.
And that's what we have to start learning to do. We're not here to coaches. We're not here to drag
Right.
people, okay? We are here to hold their hands and help them along the way. But
Help
a
them
lot
grow.
of times people hire you and want you to do everything.
Everything.
No.
And that's not how it is.
No.
And that you cannot build your brand that way.
You gotta do the
You
work.
have to do the work. There's no elevators. It is one step at a time. Every brick, just like they build a house.
That's right.
I'm sure when they laid that first brick and think they've got to make this whole house, they're like, this is gonna
I
be
can't do
forever.
this.
But as they keep laying, the
right.
house starts being built, and that's what you have to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You are so inspirational.
Thank you so
Yes, you are.
much. Thank you.
Can you share with us one of your life's defining moments?
Yeah. And when I say defining, I would say it's more so the moment when I realized that nothing was going to stop me. And that's when I decided to leave London.
Okay.
I got to 30, had been coming on vacations and stuff, but realized, London is about the size, the United Kingdom, should I say, is about the size of Florida. So, after that, after you go past there, there's nowhere else to go.
It.
So I definitely wanted to expand my horizons. But how do you tell your mother?
I'm leaving.
I'm leaving.
Yes.
Your brothers, your sisters, everything you knew.
Everything.
Everything. We sold everything. I had 2 luggage bags to my name and my daughter's name.
Oh my gosh.
And so I remember at the airport, the family came to say bye. I'm watching my mom bawl in tears. And I don't want to
My
get
baby is
emotional.
leaving.
And seeing the family like, you've got some people who are like, you're so crazy, you're going to be
What
back.
are you doing?
Yeah, it's not going to, never expect someone who doesn't have that, your dream inside of them to understand it.
They wouldn't.
So there were some who just told me I was crazy, I'll be back in no time. Then there are the ones who I knew just loved me and were going to miss me, because I did kind of hold everything together. And I remember walking away with my daughter and the 2 bags at the airport, and I just sank. Like, what are you doing?
Am I making the right decision?
Yes, your mom's in so much pain. Lakeisha, have you gone crazy? And I asked myself one question, and to this day, it's the one question I ask. I said, if the doctor told you today, Lakeisha, you had 24 hours left to live, would you regret not seeing if you could make this work? And when I answered yes, I said, I'm not going to my grave with no woulda, shoulda, couldas.
I'm not going backwards.
I'm not,
You're going
and I
forward.
sat on that plane, and at that moment, I was able to be okay with the decision I made, because I realized that I would always be wondering if I didn't do it.
That's right.
And 16 years later,
You
I'm
didn't
still
regret
here.
it.
No,
Oh my
I
gosh.
traveled back and forth, and now, they're happy. They've got a holiday place to come to, so everybody's seen me make it work. But I tell anybody, so many times we have goals and we have dreams, and they may look a bit crazy to somebody else, or you may have to make some sacrifices that other people wouldn't make.
Right.
But if you know when you go to bed, it's there. When you wake up, it's there.
there. Go for
you
it.
can't do it.
Yes.
Because you don't ever want to do woulda, shoulda, coulda. And really, from
right.
that moment, no matter how crazy it is, if I think
do it.
of it and I want to give it a try, I always ask myself that question.
And that's why you're successful.
Yes, because I just don't want any woulda, shoulda, couldas.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's great. If you would tell the audience, well, first, I want to ask, do you have any upcoming things that are going on? Any businesses, any business ventures, anything that you want to share with the viewers?
Well, it's so funny. This weekend, I have what I call my Brand Bossy Slay Day.
Okay.
This
but
weekend?
Yes. So, but we had to. Usually, it would be a weekend where 10 boss ladies coming from out of town. They stay at a house, and they get branded by my team. Photo shoots, video by my team, plus
wow.
pampered, plus their branding and marketing training. So they get that whole weekend. Obviously, we can't do that right now. So we broke it down to a sleigh day where I have a top photographer coming in from Atlanta, actually, who I love working with, amazing photos. She's actually going to be doing photo shoots for them this weekend, but we've got them coming in at different times during the day, so everybody, COVID is changing.
distancing.
But this is what I want to say to people. You can still have events. Just have them small
Limited.
and
There
limited
you go.
and have the social distancing. Because it doesn't mean, oh my God, I can never have one again. So we're doing that.
Yes.
I have a book coming out that next year, yes. It's the 10 Boss Commandments.
All right.
All right, because
I like that name.
Yeah, you already know. And it is for entrepreneurs. That's going to really just walk you through the things you really are going to need to know to become that entrepreneur, especially over these years I've had to get the experience or the failures. Everyone sees the highlight. They don't realize there were 10 failures before that
Right,
one
they don't know what you
highlight.
went through.
Exactly. So That's coming out. And plus, there's other things I want to bring out, but I'm just going to, you know me, I'll bring those out a little bit later.
Yeah, you'll be back.
Definitely.
How can they contact you?
Okay, so you can find me at MOE, that's MOE, brandstudio.com. Follow me on social media at MOE Brand Studio, and you can follow my lifestyle page at the Brand Boss, Lakeisha Ross.
All right.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much
Yes.
for being here with us.
Oh, I appreciate it. I thank you
We
so
loved
much
it.
for having me and raising the awareness and letting people know, don't be ashamed.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to tell this story. I
Yes.
just always pray it helps somebody else.
It definitely will.
You know?
Yes.
It definitely will.
Thank you.
so
We will
much.
see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
We want to thank you for joining us this evening. We want you to join us next Tuesday at 6 p.m. for another guest right here from our community. In closing, faith and perseverance is the key to overcoming obstacles. Lakeisha shared with us how she overcame many obstacles, such as being a teenage mother, suffering with depression, and how she did not allow depression to win. She persevered and grew a thriving 6-figure business from home. There will always be challenges, obstacles, and less than perfect conditions. Don't let it stop you. Keep pushing. If you or someone you know is suffering with depression, call the national hotline at 1-800-273-8255, or you can text HOME to 741-741. We are real sisters, sharing real stories within our community. We thank you for tuning in to talk about it, the Candid Conversation Show.
Go. Let's go.
Come on, let's have a candid conversation. Let's talk about it. Just bring it up, we got hope.